Hey folks, it's Rick. Happy TeleTaco Tuesday, number 11. Finally, it's not snowing here in Pittsburgh. Going up to the 70s today. It's sunny and beautiful. I went outside to play with Fred, and there are bees flying around us, and everybody's happy. So I think it's great. So today is, it's back to the blues. The blues is very important to me in all of my influences and the music that I like to play, in terms of, the jazz that I like and the music that I like to play at church. Blues is really important. Maybe that's because it's so simple and it's so easy to grasp. But the more you think about it, it's maybe not as easy to grasp as you might think. I just want to talk about reasons that I like the blues, who are the players that I like to listen to, and I consider myself a student of the blues. I'm hoping that I'm getting better all the time, but sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm just staying the same, which is okay. It's a fun music to play. It's really expressive. You can incorporate it into so many other different things. My go-to ideas. I hate to say riffs because they're riffs. They are. I hate the idea that I play the same stuff all the time. It just really upsets me, and I shouldn't let it upset me. Usually when I pick up a guitar, I gravitate towards the 5th position, which basically puts me in key of A minor, typically. It doesn't have to. It could put me in D minor. It could put me in D major. It could put me in A major. Put me in C major, but I'm typically right here in A minor. So how do you keep from just playing minor pentatonic? Well, you don't have to. Pentatonic is great. But if you listen to some of the really good rock blues players, for example, Dickie Betts from the original Allman Brothers, always threw in a cool note that wasn't part of the pentatonic scale, So it was like he'll land like on something that's not in the pentatonic scale typically. Other people did that as well. Stevie Ray Vaughan is the one that comes to mind a lot, See, who would do that? Ritchie Blackmore too. Ritchie Blackmore, what a fantastic player he was. He was able to, play a classical style, play a heavy rock style, play a blues style. He was just so good at incorporating all that stuff. I remember my first jam session of my life with my old friend Pete. And we didn't really know the chords that well. He was playing bass. We were saying, okay, we're going to play blues in E. And so I was actually just going. But, give me a break. I think I was 9 years old at the time. The first thing we started to learn, was... That's the kind of solo we would play maybe when we were like 10, 11 years old. And at the same time, I started to learn these scales. I would learn this one. Which is like your natural minor scale. And I learned this one. which is a major scale starting on second finger. The first thing that I noticed about that minor scale, I messed it up. First thing I noticed was that this was in it. Okay, it was like embedded in there. So it was like the skeleton of that scale that I thought, well, why can't I use those other notes, right? But then I realized, oh, I can go. Or at the same time, I listened to Eric Clapton and Leonard Skinner, and I would hear them do this. And I thought that was the coolest sound. And so I figured out where it was. It's just bend that note and that one above it. And that to me was really great. And it started to click for me. It started to make a lot of sense. So I heard Ritchie Blackmore doing this at the end of Lazy. If you ever listen to Lazy by Deep Purple, he ends the song. Ritchie Blackmore ends like... something like that. It's not exact, but it was close. I remember my father, jazz musician, who was probably frustrated that his son, who he wanted to play saxophone and piano, ended up playing noisy electric guitar in a sloppy manner. I remember he heard me doing that once. And he made some comment like, oh, that's the best I've heard you play. And again, I knew I was getting somewhere at that point. When I was in high school, I had been listening to Stevie Ray Vaughan, which is life-changing. I mean, if you're a teenager and you go to a Stevie Ray Vaughan concert, it's really the most amazing thing. And actually, I saw Clapton then too. Clapton was so good. Up until then, I liked Clapton a lot. I thought he had great songs, but I didn't imagine how well the guy could play the blues. Blew me away. Anyway, but Stevie Ray Vaughan, I saw him 3 times. He blew me away every time. I started to learn these. But you know, some of the things that I've picked up recently are more than just the notes and the riffs. They're things about your tone, your attack, your phrasing. For instance, my father taught me that you shouldn't just try to fill all the space with notes. You should leave some space so that it's interesting. Listening to B.B. King a lot in the 90s. I went to see him a couple times. I learned that what everybody knows about B.B. King is that one note can be really powerful. The vibrato technique. Can't teach that. You can tell people how to start doing it. You can tell them, bend the note a wee little bit. But really what happens is like you got a fulcrum here, and you're kind of shaking your hand a little. I had somebody tell me once I have a BB King vibrato. I was like, hey, thanks. I didn't know that. And then the attack with your hand is another BB King thing, this chop. And you have to have things muted in order for that to work. You can't just go. It sounds really bad and your dog will get upset. Picking is important in blues too. If you get the pick in a certain way, even without that much volume, you can hear. I'm kind of grabbing it with my finger too, or my thumb downward. And it's more than just a pinch harmonic, you know, because sometimes it's just how you. The amount of the string that you let ring, you know, like you could do this, and you could do this. And there's a difference. It sounds really great. And just recently I've been thinking about the picks that I use, because they all sound different. This pick's kind of a fatty. A fatty. It's not even 420. So bending is important in blues. What I do, I wanted to get this note, sort of. I wanted to take that minor third and just push it, or pull it. And the same thing here. That's a lot of information. Hey folks, I hope you have a really good day. Happy TeleTaco Tuesday. It was kind of a bummer weekend for me, and I'll show you why. Sometimes gig bags are not good enough, because when you open the back of your Subaru and your guitar comes flying out, I don't know if you guys can see that. Pow! And that was a bummer. Mir. And that's peace in Russian. Alright, folks. Later on.